In my last video, I talked about a will and why it's very important for just about everybody to have in place. Today, I'm going to dive into the specifics of the will and what you're going to be saying on that form. Alright, so there's a will and something known as a living will, which is more directed at your health and conditions and things like that. Today, we're going to cover the will. Alright, so the will is going to lay out what you want to happen to your assets. What do you want to happen to your guitar and your bank account and your house, things like that, even your children. So for those parents of minor children, you're going to lay out what happens to your children in case you and your spouse, if you're married, pass away. My wife and I, the parents of our children, were out on date night and we passed away due to an accident. The will is going to lay out what would happen to the children. So it will lay out, this is who we'd like to take care of the children, and if they aren't willing to do that, this is the backup guardian for our children that we'd like. Laying out things like that, for those that are married, I encourage you to make your spouse the primary beneficiary, but past that. The easy answer is to pass everything to children if you have them, but I'd encourage most of you to think about passing your assets to not just your children, to other family members, to charitable organizations, to those that have impacted your lives. So don't just take the easy way out and write down your children as the contingent beneficiaries. Just really think about it, pray about it, and decide what kind of legacy you're going to leave behind. Along with your will and laying out those beneficiaries, you're going to want to designate beneficiaries on your accounts, your investment accounts, bank accounts, things like that. Understand that the beneficiaries you list on those accounts, including life insurance, are going to supersede your will. So let's say you have your wife as the beneficiary in your will and have your brother as the beneficiary listed on your IRA. If you were to pass away, even though your wife is listed on your will, your brother would inherit your IRA because the beneficiaries on those accounts supersede your will. Also in your will, you want to lay out somebody responsible that's going to carry out your wishes, right? So those that are married, you want to choose your spouse for the most part. Those that are not, or past your spouse, you want to choose that someone who is going to stick with your best wishes, and you always want to communicate where these forms are at. So let them know where you keep your will, maybe even give them a copy or access to a copy of these instructions. Next video, I'm going to be talking about financial power of attorney. Again, that's one of the big four, what I believe you need to have your estate in good order. We're going to dive into what a financial power of attorney looks like.